Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we are going to work on our clean and press for the first time in this series. This video is part of a greater series of kettlebell learning instructional videos. We are developing our kettlebell technique one drill at a time so that people can start at the beginning and continue learning on their own. This is to help people learn to self-coach. This way they can work on their basics. If they are going to work alone, then this will provide them the knowledge to continue to work forever without getting hurt, or it will allow them to get more out of training with a kettlebell coach in the future. The more you understand the basics, the greater your likelihood of success with kettlebelling. We are going to pick up the kettlebell with two hands so that we can start in a proper rack position. If our hand and our wrist is in correct alignment, then we can learn to endure and get more out of our training. Step up to your kettlebell, point 2 feet straight ahead with your feet shoulder width apart. Your feet should be underneath your shoulders. We want to avoid turnout because if people turn out and their arches of their feet collapse, their ankles roll in, their knees roll in, and they have a hard time engaging their glutes. Point your feet straight ahead and keep them straight ahead. Pick up with two hands. The L of our hand goes to the L of the kettlebell. Loop, other hand comes underneath to support. Stand up using your glutes. Bring it up to rack position. Make sure your forearm is vertical. This is key to all of your future kettlebell success. If your elbow is out and your wrist is bent, pull your elbow in and figure out how to line up the kettlebell. The kettlebell should be resting down at a 45-degree angle in your hand. There should be no gap between the L of your hand and the corner of the kettlebell. If you open your hand, your fingers should be pointed straight towards the sky. We do not want the ball of the kettlebell to be resting directly on your wrist. From the rack position, thumb equal with collarbone height, we're going to do a clean. We're going to push the weight back. Elbow stays close to hip, push back, catch. If you have to adjust, adjust to get to the correct position. Press, lock your tricep out. The weight should be behind our body. Bring the weight down, push back. Use your hips to drive the weight up. It is not a bicep curl. Push back. Hips cause the weight to come up. Catch gently at the top. We do not want to be hitting ourselves. Elbow starts at hip. Press to lockout. Drive your rib cage down. Squeeze your glutes to protect your back. Bring the weight down. Push the weight back. Catch. Press all the way up overhead. Bring the weight down. Thumb at the height of the collarbone when you bring the weight down. Use two hands and set the kettlebell down with good technique. We are picking the kettlebell up with good technique so that we start in a good rack position. We can see the bell directly in front of us and we can adjust it as necessary. Keep the elbow close to the hip, push the weight back. The inside of your forearm should contact high up on your thigh. We are starting from here instead of from the ground to encourage people to do the clean better. On the clean, the bottom is fast and then the top is slow. If you're going fast at the top and you pull the weight in or your elbow tracks away from your body, you will hit yourself with the bell and you will not want to continue training. Kettlebelling is a skill, so you have to practice in order to understand these concepts. The main problem that people will have is once they get to their clean, they will press to lockout, drive the rib cage down and squeeze their glutes. When they bring the weight down, they will not bring it all the way down. They will try to stop up here and start the next clean. They will push the weight way too far away from them. It will track down below the level of their knees and they will try to stand up and they will hurt themselves. Elbow always comes back to hip. That is incredibly important. Keep the elbow close to the body and the thumb is always at collarbone height. Let's demonstrate again with the other side. Right hand, L of your hand, goes to the corner of the kettlebell. Pick up with two hands, 45 degrees down. If you have to adjust the bell, adjust the bell. Push the weight back, elbow stays close to hip. Push back, thumb points back, catch. Elbow on hip, thumb at collarbone height. Press to elbow lockout. Don't have the weight in front of you. Push your hand back, drive your rib cage down, squeeze your glutes. Bring the weight down, thumb at collarbone height. The goal is to be able to rest in this position so you can endure. Thumb points back at the bottom, stand up, press the lockout, bring the weight down, thumb at collarbone height. Push the weight back, stand up, press the lockout, bring the kettlebell down. When we are done with 3 reps, straighten the arms out, set the weight down directly between the insteps of our feet for now. That is safety. It is part of learning technique. Your clean and press is incredibly important. It is important in barbell. It is important in dumbbell. It is incredibly important in kettlebell. It is important in heavy club. It is important in every type of athletic program. So understanding how to do a clean and press without getting hurt is very important to your overall athletic development. You start with a light weight so you can do your rack position properly. Every time you do a press and every time you do a clean, you are loading your core equally on all sides of your body. The front of your body fires when the kettlebell is behind you at the top. When you're holding in the rack position, the muscles on the back side of your body fire. At the bottom, your core is firing in yet a different way. Learning the clean and press will make your core strong so that you can then apply that to other athletic activities. We want to be strong with 2 feet on the ground, standing up, carrying a weight on one side of our body as a foundational level of strength. Arnold Schwarzenegger, in his classic, The Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding, calls the clean and press the basis of a truly Herculean physique. We are doing it with a kettlebell instead of a barbell because it has more benefit to us for training outside in the real world. Kettlebells are light, they travel easily, and they have cross-body stabilization, which is a prime athletic skill. At this point, you have all the knowledge to begin a clean and press program. Doesn't have to be my clean and press program, but you should practice clean and press with kettlebells. It is the absolute easiest way to build up your athletic foundation to help you get out of pain and live a better quality of life. Today we are going to do a kettlebell clean and press, and we are going to put a hand transition in between them so that we can learn to not put the weight down. This video is part of a series of kettlebell instructional videos. They go in order, 1 drill at a time, so people can learn to self-coach and learn kettlebells at home. In a previous video, we had learned how to put our clean and our press together. Today, we are going to combine that with our hand-to-hand transition that we have learned from previous clean videos. We change 1 thing per video so that people can practice these 1 day at a time and learn kettlebelling in a short period of time. To start this drill, let's pick it up with 2 hands. This allows us to start in the best possible rack position so that we learn good body positioning over time. 2-hand pickup. The L of our hand goes to the corner of the kettlebell. Other hand comes underneath. Pick up with 2 hands. Use the power of your legs at the top of the movement. Pull your kneecaps up, squeeze your glutes, always to support your core. Clean first. Thumb points back, elbow stays close to hip. Thumb points back, elbow stays close to hip, fast at the bottom, gentle at the top so you don't hit yourself. Press all the way to lockout. Bring the weight all the way down till thumb touches collarbone. Hand change. The coaching cue is down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up. The clean is already done on this side. Add the press. Bring the weight down. Down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up. Press. Bring it down all the way, thumb to collarbone height. Push the weight back, down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up. Press, bring the weight down. The thing that people will fail to do is they will fail to stand up in the hand transition. They will push the weight back and they will try to stay low, thus making themselves susceptible to injury. After the press, you stand all the way up on the down, up, down, up. Hips down, stand all the way up. Hips down, stand all the way up. Press the lockout. When you have completed 3 reps on each side, grab the kettlebell with the other hand. Use 2 hands to set the kettlebell all the way down. We pick up the kettlebell with 2 hands and put down the kettlebell with 2 hands in this drill because it avoids the place where most people get hurt. Most people get hurt in the beginning picking up the bell or after they are done when they are putting the weight down. So we are doing the safest possible pickup technique and the safest possible set down technique. When we pick up the weight, we do one clean. That clean is thumb at collarbone height, arm comes down, thumb rolls towards our center line, thumb points back. Arm is perfectly straight. The thumb is back, so if we do something wrong in the hip dip, with thumb up, our arm doesn't bend, we could cause ourselves injury. For this beginning technique, let's make sure we point our thumb back at the bottom. That clean is very important. The better you get at that, the better you get at everything in kettlebelling. Extend your arm up overhead to lockout. Drive the rib cage down and squeeze the glutes. The glute squeeze protects the lower back. Bring the weight down to thumb height. Down, up, down, up. Hand comes out, thumb rolls in, push the weight back. Drive up with the heel, stand all the way up. Thumb points up, so the other hand can grab the handle of the kettlebell. On the way down, thumb points down to save the elbow. Push back, keep the weight close to your body, drive up, catch at collarbone height. Knuckles below the line of our shoulder. Press all the way up to overhead, bring it down. Thumb comes all the way down. People will mess this up by only coming down halfway. That will make you susceptible to injury. All the way down. Hand comes out, thumb rolls in, push the weight back, down, up. Change hands. Hand will find hand. Stand all the way up and change hands directly in front of your line of sight. Thumb points down and repeat. If you have to say the coaching cues aloud, say the coaching cues aloud. Say down, up. Say stand all the way up. Say squeeze your glutes. If you know what to say and you practice saying it, you will learn it inside your mind. If you don't say it and you're getting lost, then say the words. And over time, you will get better and faster at doing the cues. The clean and press is essential for athletic development, whether it be with barbell, dumbbell, or kettlebell. I think the kettlebell is the best because it will teach you how to stand all the way up faster than the other things. It is also less expensive and it requires less specialized equipment. If you want to learn barbell clean and press, you need some place where you can drop a very heavy weight, which precludes people in apartments or multi-family dwellings. Kettlebells, because you're never dropping the weight, is accessible. It makes almost no noise and you can repeat it for years at a time until men get towards the 70-pound line and until ladies get towards the 16K, maybe 20K line, depending on frame size. You should start a kettlebell clean and press program now that you understand this idea, and you should run it in a mathematically progressive way for years to come. That is how you build your foundation of strength at home. That is how you build your foundation of endurance, and then that will apply to all other types of athletic activity. The goal is for people to learn basic techniques, make them economical, and then let them practice them in their own environment on their own time for years to come so that they can get what they want out of training and live a better, pain-free, more adventurous life. Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we are going to continue developing our basic kettlebell clean and press technique. We are going to add the start-stop to the clean and press. This video is part of a series of videos that are meant to be watched and practiced in order so that people can learn to self-coach kettlebell technique at home. The goal is to make people more comfortable with kettlebells so that they can start doing programs so that they can actually get the development that they want. Start with the L of our hand to the L of the kettlebell, hike the weight back, elbow stays close to hip. The hips will drive the action. It is not a bicep curl. Elbow, wrist, knuckle in a vertical line. The catch in rack position is important because if that is not good, presses won't be good, snatches won't be good, Turkish get-ups won't be good. This catch is important to everything you do in kettlebells in the future. Open your shoulder, press all the way up overhead to lockout, bring the weight down, all the way down, thumb at collarbone height. Push the thumb back to straighten the elbow, set the weight down. When we set the weight down, we will have high hips and we will sink lower, changing the angle of load on our body to touch the bell all the way back down. L of our hand to the L of the kettlebell, push back. Clean, press to lock out, bring the weight down, all the way down. Rack is a resting position. Thumb points back, touch down. Start a new rep. Push back, clean, press, elbow all the way down, push back, touch, push back, clean, press the lockout, elbow down, push back, touch down. Arm out to the side. That will help us square our shoulders at the top. Push back, clean, press, weight down, push back, touch, push back, clean, press, bring it down, push back, touch. Stand all the way up. It is important in the beginning of training that we try to point our feet straight ahead and have our shoulders underneath our hips. If our feet are turned out or our feet are really wide, it can do weird things to our ankles, knees, and our hips. The easiest way to learn is to stand in a normal standing position. Point your feet straight ahead because that allows the arch of your foot to fire. If you have collapsed arches, knee pain, hip pain, or back pain, pointing your feet straight ahead is key to learning how to not be in pain. Feet straight ahead, every time you do a swing, your arch will try to fire. It will try to line up your ankle, your knee will try to stabilize, and it will go up your body to your back. Every exercise in kettlebells is a core exercise, but the proper foot setup is huge in making sure that everything fires in the correct order and that everything tries to do its job. Setting down the kettlebell is where most people get hurt. Most people, when they finish the rep, will twist and rotate their spine to put the weight down, and they will give up before the weight is back on the ground. Learn not to do that with this drill. Hips go back, knees at the level of the toes. If our knees are forward, our heels are off the ground, we are susceptible to injury. Sit back away from the weight, shoulders square, crown to coccyx alignment straight. We are avoiding twisting and rolling. That's how people get hurt when they are new to training. Do 3 reps on one side, 3 reps on the other side. Take a break and then do it again. Work on this as a skill drill. After you understand the skill, you can plug it into a program and you work on this movement with heavier weights for 2 to 3 years. Goal weight for men, 32K. Goal weight for women, depending on frame size, could be 12, 14, 16 to 20K.